Welcome to Life by Design, another edition of the show as we roll forward to looking up to the runoff elections, where it's the biggest topic in the country. Almost everything past the eat with people in the eat and do few things. Everything else is grounded in the country because the political life of the country, it determines the rest of all waiting they happen. We call this series Nation by Design. What we've said is that, like how Life by Design, they help people design their own life so that they can create the life they want for experience. Now, this world, we can do the same for our nation. If we country good, not to by accident make it good. If we country bad, not to by accident make we country bad. The country where we design for ourselves, that the country we go experience. So you can create, you can design the nation where we want to see. I'm Joe Abbas-Bangura, and this is Life and Nation by Design. A lot has happened after they announced the results of the March 7 elections. And we see the way the results come, a lot of the patterns they would expect, say, it will take some confirm in terms of the fact that, like we shared the last time, we look at the way people vote, show say the divide still there in the country. That means say Southeast divide versus Northwest divide, show say some party then they will get strongholds. SLPP getting usual strongholds, and interesting thing in this election, they maintain their strongholds. But we look at strongholds who have been the things in APC, supposed to be APC, their own strongholds. APC did not do well as they do in the 2012 election. Somebody they will help me pick this apart. What are the lessons to be learned, and how should we prepare ourselves for make sure say we still go through the runoff elections, and how do we make sure violence not there, because it's not supposed for there. We will talk about that before the round of the show. But for pick up the lessons learned for these elections, now no less a person for taking me through than the Executive Director for Institute of Governance Reform, Mr. Andrew Lavalie. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Yes. Good day, good day.
I have made several offers to you, several invitations, lots and lots, but I finally got you to the studio today.
Yes, it's a pleasure being here, and I am really amazed that you're selling this idea of nation by design. So there must be some intentional effort by Sierra Leoneans to create the kind of society they want to live. And this is where getting elections right, we think is very important.
Getting elections right, very important. Now, what is the biggest surprise for you during these elections, for these elections?
Well, we don't see the election results. We get an opposition way not being too effective as an opposition. It can dominates the ruling party in an election. The lead small is about 0.6%, but a big. And waiting happen, waiting surprised me, the opposition increased in votes nationally, every district.
Across the board.
Across the country. Bo, Freetown, Western Rural, Kenema, Bombali, all sides.
And even in places where the things in exactly. The ruling party is stronghold.
All sides they increase them.
What thing caused down there? Obviously, it's not something where SLPP do.
Well, it's people expressing, because waiting can normally happen in an election. Now, opposition parties then can develop manifestos. The ruling party, then the judge are on a record. So this way, now a kind of validation of the ruling party in record. Now every district get for say something about that record. Kono get something different for say about the record than Freetown. Bo get something different for say about that record than Kwenadugu. So now that make a final analyze, and so that will begin for say no, this one is tribalism. It's about how different people view waiting to happen in Sierra Leone, and the only way, and I think say growth don't take place in this country. Everybody now don't believe say, you know waiting, nobody no can set Kuskas Naya for express what we want. If we're dissatisfied with something, with the way to stay, we'll go vote peacefully. I think saying that the beauty that one day, waiting not happen so in Sierra Leone, if you reverse the clock back 50 years ago, in the 1967 and 68, between the two parties, APC and SLPP, it was so tense. Now just 3 independent candidates there, they talk say, you know what, we know the team for SLPP, then join with APC. Just like it changed now.
Yeah.
Now that been divided. In fact, at that time, team in East, then they so disturbed them at the south and east and go to the north. Mendes, then they so disturbed them at the north and go back to the south and east. You know what thing happened? Where people in the talk about tribalism, I just go back in history, inside computer.
You check her?
Yeah, check them. But I realize say now, if anybody talk something small about tribalism, now yeah, if one person talk, you get 100 people that say, no, that does not define us. You know why? Because over 50% of the people that would vote in this election, now after the war self, all them old ties then, they not even experience that, they don't even know about her. And they so intermarriage. Me so me now from the south, I get a lovely wife when I team me from the north. We get picking them.
What are they talking company language? You they talk to me?
At the broken small.
In they talk me
instead they can halfway. But with the beginning they talk the language you don't want to talk. So and we love it. So
now, so IGI launch a report. Tell a bit more about what's in this report content.
The report really will reflect on the lessons for the election results with Infa Ali, the Chief Electoral Commissioner, be announced last week. We reflect on them because we don't get a lot of writings where people talk say, now this and this result mean. But none of the writing not actually show, or the analysis not show, waiting at the implication for the runoff, and if the runoff pass, waiting at the implication for post-election. Sometimes somebody get for attacking company, sometimes the state will get for emerge, the kind of talk about country by design. Waiting at the implication. Because we don't say, if there is a distribution formula at the Ministry of Finance, where they favor one region, you know they favor another region, this country know they grow. Because we have to grow together. We have to grow as one nation, or else we'll perish as one nation.
We'll get a couple of things that we'll go for pick up with you. But you say we get about 5 lessons where we learn now this election. The first lesson you say that Sierra Leoneans them embrace issue-based voting. What are your basis for that?
When they say issue-based voting, like if you say where they America, they talk say waiting Obama healthcare policy versus so we now
it different.
It different. When they say issue na this country, na somebody in well-being, somebody in human security, somebody in membership to the state. How is that recognized by the establishment? So now index you vote for. Somebody will not understand and say, no, this is not tribalism, but it's more complex than that.
It's more complex.
If you go Kono, now 3 issues then Kono pick. Well, 2 issues then. They all border around human security and livelihoods. Kono, diamond mining don't begin at Kono for 80 years now. We all know how Kono conditions are. Now be the worst place during the war. So all of the parliamentary candidates in Kono, when in the campaign they talk say we get for make here better. In fact, one party candidates say when at the former mayor if you don't take the Kwedu holdings to court, in fact now on that basis makes sense as far as in concern then be sack am. Then one issue the people in talk say we get for make them mining better now. The second issue they say 2 of them sons and the way they sack them they not be satisfied with that.
Sam
Sumana and the mayor of Kono. Okay. So then 2 issues and they now Kono say we get for votes en bloc. In fact, on the eve of the election, we talked to 5,000 voters across the country. Exactly what they tell you, 60-something% of them they say now so they vote. That the result will next show.
I just want to label again for Kono the fact that in 2007 APC being get 41.5%.
Exactly.
And the presidential elections, then in 2012 58.2%.
Yes.
And that come back down to 20%. 20%.
So they get 45%, 41% in 2007. In 2012, they get 58.2%. Close to 60%.
Close to 60%.
In 2018,
down to
they count to 20%. We watch down the percentage wise.
You say so that it's a 40. Okay, if you compare with 2012, it says it's you say it's a 42%. No, 65.4% drop in waiting APC being get.
Yes, 65.4%.
And you say it's an issue base.
It's an issue. In fact, so we watch. Even SLPP they not increase it.
SLPP drop. You say SLPP drop from 37.1% in 2012 to 21.5%. So SLPP not go. So yes. so APC then drop one not as a result of SLPP.
No, not as a result of SLPP. Now a new actor. Now go seize Kono because of the issues will emerge in Kono.
So let's talk about the Southeast. You said long things and they mass all together. All the SLPP strongholds.
Southeast, the entire Southeast, with the exception of Kono, Now SLPP strong.
How would you say it's not tribal? It's not a tribal vote.
Exactly.
How would you say that?
Because when you watch this resource distribution, the Ministry of Finance, all that money will tax within they collect, they IBAN, they boop, within the Shebam. The people in the south they talk say we know they get much.
But they don't make road them government make road now they place the lights them.
We watch road like the last time I checked na 31-kilometer roads na McKinney been just get. When you watch the south, Bo, Moyamba, Bont, Pujol, all of them na 29-kilometer roads. So I know it's all about Bombalia, it's all about McKinney town. You understand? So people they talk say the distribution of resources in all equitable. So that's one. So you see say SLPP percentages increase across the south and east. Though by small percentage because now they're strong goal, you see also they grow by 8%, by 7%, but you see say APC figures drop. But let's shock on a small, but one side show say it's not about tribalism. You go inside Pujol, you get one land right campaign in Pujol when Honorable Shaka Sama. In fact, they don't send them to prison, but Kuten, because at the Samalin area, a lot of people they feel say the concession the way government grants the Belgian company where they call Sokfin for possess their land, they're not glad with that. So it stands as independent, and it stands as independent. It colleagues them with the Deeper Land Right campaign. They all stand as independent councillors. Out of them 5, 4 of them pull seats from SLPP. They are all Mendes. 3 of them na councillor, 1 na parliamentary. So it's not about tribalism.
And it go tough really for bits down there.
No, definitely.
At the first time they say then kind of voting here they take place as regionalized as they appear for be.
Exactly.
But you say they are issues based, but possibly not the way we redefine issues.
No, that the way we define issues. Let's say for example, if we go to Cambia, if me they vote for Yom Kela at Cambia, you they take and say that issue. But when this Maya win, the first highway side the better na Cambia. It just can't coincidental say my brother.
Yes.
You understand eh? So inside America you get red states and blue states. But the thing way bad, with man get what they call moral ethnicity and political tribalism. With na moral ethnicity, where everybody gain identity, Fulaman different from Mendeman, they will never be the same. But if they still respect Fulaman, if they still respect Mendeman. But when they say political tribalism now for say hate that person there because that person they not like we, that is dangerous. That means say not look at anything for access person, just look at me. And why then they do that one day? Politicians they're very clever. They know say you get 30% of Sierra Leoneans that are Mendes, then in one region, 30% of Sierra Leoneans that are Timnis, then in one region. If me no one for do well, and they just say and Timina Mende man say you know what then Timni they not like we.
And are the 2 majority tribes in there?
The 2 majority tribes. So if they say the minority tribes then Creole, Fula, Loko, they don't even care about Limba. They don't even care.
May guest student and Lavalie of the Institute of Governance Reforms, where they will tweet today for just analyze within the lessons where we learn from the first round from the elections. How would those lessons help we for make sure say maybe help both parties if they still listening and we will not vote yet for able for make up reminders so waiting to happen. We will vote for the second one. Stay with us.
AfriCell introduced AfriCell Money for the first time in Sierra Leone for free.
AfriCell Money, Mama, you no need for worry.
Now you can transfer money with your AfriCell line anytime, anywhere in Sierra Leone, free of charge. Yes, with the AfriCell Money service, you can buy mobile money and transfer it for free.
AfriCell has made sending and receiving money easy and affordable with your AfriCell line.
The AfriCell Money service enables you to have a money account on your AfriCell line where you can deposit and transfer money free of charge while sitting comfortably anywhere. To create an AfriCell Money account and start sending and receiving money, please visit any AfriCell point of sale countrywide where you can also become an AfriCell Money dealer.
For more information, call 161. AfriCell Money.
Welcome back. This is you show Nation by Design, coming to you right on the eve of the runoff elections where Sierra Leoneans go to the poll for vote for who that's going to be the president in this country for the next 5 years. Me get sitting at the studio, Andrew Lavalie, when the executive director for IGR. And now, so make this relevant now for the runoff. What does this mean for the runoff?
It shows say the thing where you get for sell and well. If it is sell tribalism, and we'll come to that later. A lot of people, this generation of voters, they need to buy them, especially the one then within the urban areas. You still get voters that within the strongholds like Bo, Port Loko, Bombali, Kenima, Bont, Pujeon, and Tonkolili. Because you get one homogeneous group, you all inside and they intimidate. So you see one party they get 80% and 70%. But the Wusai population, they mix. You get extreme northern Sierra Leone, you get western area, you get Kono, you get the heartland of Botong. They need to take you tribal talk.
So they won't.
Yeah, not too important.
They work. Let's look at the next lesson where you see that we learn. The next lesson where it says competition breeds violence as impunity breeds extremism. What does that mean? Just break down for
yes, when they say competition and they breed violence, election are competition. But before this term, we talk about things we produce with music, My Vote, My Life, Citizens Manifesto, when I ask the Oman declare asset, it be they change a lot of people in mindset. They sit down in communities, they don't change. Some man sit down say, Yana me grown. We turn out come for vote. Say no, me not believe that they on the basis of the information what I don't get now, I am midday. So some people say they agree. So that competition they we will not use yet to. We call democracy not mature it. Now they bring violence. So we look at election results. All next election results now over 3,000 polling centers. We take them, we analyze them. We look at polling centers who say nobody not get above 60%. We look at polling centers who say the second man not get below 15-20%. If you did within that bracket, it's a bit competitive. We will look at them polling center and we look at all the violence we they see in our WhatsApp.
Now from their area
Now from their area
Give me an example.
Like for example, you watch Tawai area, who side the opposition win. It's competitive. If you watch all the violence with the been at Port Loko town, it's competitive. Now Lunge area, who side there was this attempt say we move the airports from here to Mamama. So people then they reject down there. If you go now Cambia, the rest of Cambia, it was competitive because of people they take and say now a new party they can't take here. In 2012, APC had over 90% at Cambia. So for that kind victory they erode, you for really know say then get for wrestles more.
Now, so you move to the next point. Let's move to 3. You says politicization of ethnicity and the appearance of old habits. Lesson number 3. I don't think you said you tell me about political versus ethnic morality and versus political. So jump on that now.
Then get what you call I talk and just know moral ethnicity versus political tribalism.
I'll tell for keep on me.
Yes.
Moral ethnicity
versus political tribalism. Yes, moral ethnicity. Mendeman. They get their own.
Way then they do
things. Then they do things, we make them productive. Respect them. But when they can't mobilize them now, say, let's just vote so because we not amended them.
That's the political tribalism then there.
So, but I say, me na one testimony, me na Southern, I'm a Mende Shabro, me wife na timini, mama, papa na timini. We so like.
And we're not okay for that.
Okay. In fact, na Muslim. Me a Christian.
Correct.
We okay with that.
Umaru not the opposite. Umaru not Muslim, we went from a Christian.
So but politicians because they know say none of them, there is no one tribe where they win election.
By himself na this country.
So if I don't get now me 30%, how go make now let others they hate?
The other one so that you cancel me. So you said this is what this is all about?
Yes, it's all what it's about.
And are you saying that politicians and primarily they drive this tribalism,
exactly.
Political tribalism?
It's fake because they know say if you talk them, people then they vex.
but I think this is something we will take serious as a nation. This is something we're going after these elections. 5 years from now, if we not deal with this, the violence would always be there, the tensions would be there because it's all about resources.
Exactly. And for the runoff, we don't reiterate them. Any party where they continue for flame ethnicity, tribalism, it will work for you maybe small side, but it will turn people off who side the major votes then sit on. Because who side the major votes then sit on, then they actually look at you. what you plan for them, not so whether this person are Lokoma or Giziman.
Andrew, let's move to the fourth lesson we learn inside this election. If you talk about NEC and institutional integrity, what about it? I know say the story them around NEC mixed. To a large extent, you hear people saying, well, yes, NEC they try, then do their own. International observers then come and say, then do their own, then do their own, then do their own. But now political parties, then all they complain against NEC. Everybody gets your own complaint. You know, it's like say, on my the Asian, with me, look me on, including APC, SLPP, NGC, and you know, it's very interesting because if in a South Side and one person, I mean complain no more, you been go say, well, maybe it's good day, but when everybody they complain, does that not say maybe the problem not to NEC, the problem now we Sierra Leoneans we be part of the process, whether not be the overvoting then take place, not just we Sierra Leoneans, because when NEC they recruit, not of them permanent staff them all. NEC go to the various districts them and make people make recommendation for people there for recruits. Then send go to the polling stations. Now they go happen. So, you know, would you blame NEC or would you blame the people? But let's talk about that.
I think this is a very important lesson. You know, last year we do 2 studies. The first question part in March last year we asked, you believe say the National Electoral Commission NEC they count your votes freely and fairly? 69% of people then say yes. So 6 months after that in December, 9 months in December, we asked the same question. Election don't left 3 months now. If you say the National Electoral Commission go count your votes fairly and freely and fairly,
you say the number go up.
77% yes say yes. So
from 69 to 77%.
So election 10 can now. Then
which was positive for NEC.
Which was positive. That kind of approval rating in Africa for a country in then belief in institution is profound.
Right.
But wait till the can for election. No, this NEC na so look over voting here, look ballot stuff in here, look this na here. So we step back. So what happen? And one thing we want now one strong lesson is that if now one of the candidates then be the complain, then you know say this institution is hijacked.
Yes.
But you see say everybody they complain, but different aspects of NEC. You they see the ruling party they talk say, you see that one at the top, you know lekui. The opposition they say, you see that other one at the bottom, they're not lekui. So it means there is no conspiracy institutionalized conspiracy at the top where flow go down. So it's just so it means some of all the challenges that they see now, the kind you mentioned and so now really now the recruitment. If me one stand election, you know my brother, one will cousin a polling agent. Polling agent say, boy yourself, you know, say now we say make a find out. So you see people they take pictures of somebody will get ink. You say this why they go do this ink here, get this ink because you want void a particular region. I mean, we'll not test the veracity whether they want them. But the reality is the biggest lesson from NEC
for this one
for the NEC situation is that as a country we need for take time, because if we not address corruption, it is a big problem for the fragility, because then institutionalized corruption will be within families will bring that into state management. As critical as this, it will make this country go into flames.
Let's look at the last lesson we learned. And this go for the president. And I said to you, and you said the outgoing president they take a partisan position, and this affects democracy. And I said to you, honorable, like you honorable, you're a man of honor. And I said to you, is it not unfair for making the president not supporting party? Barack Obama had to go all the way, tour with Hillary Clinton and campaign with Hillary Clinton and campaign for Hillary Clinton. I watched most of those, fired up, ready to go. I pick one the campaign, I bring kind of office and I shared with this stuff. Is it not unfair for expect that the president, this nine party, is it unfair for expect
you know the president for support who I want support?
Yes. Yes. But within bad will
if the thing is the president get a role, just like how Barack Obama in role now for make sure say every American is safe. And that no go stand in the way of Democrats then victory.
Right.
If Democrats they want win, they see say there is a safety of Americans, of 2-3 Americans who compromised, Barack Obama so say go impeach him for that.
Right.
So when you're a president, you get a role of a president. If you're a party chairman, you get a role of a party chairman. There's a reason why they call state house, then they call a party office. Then political party then are just a vehicle for let somebody go na State House.
But once you go inside
once you go there, they serve all man. One part of the people with the president obliged for protect another bill. So if security conflicts with in function in party obligations, the president need for bow to the state security.
So if the president in role as a president conflicts within affiliation within party,
he need for set that aside. Because if they under oath for safeguard everybody, it's under oath.
How easy is this? Now,
because the thing is, you can support it just not like you get picking them. You elect one. That's what president in the house. If the one way do bad, even if you elect her, they discipline her.
Yes.
But they are all your children.
Yes.
Right? And the outgoing, where you go now, you're not outgoing president. The team more for preoccupy you, now legacy. And the biggest legacy with the president for left, now national cohesion.
A unified nation.
All the political party business and they are way below him. We don't want to let the runoff bring any violence. This report we don't publish it. It will be in the papers tomorrow. And let security agencies then, election management bodies and EMBs then look at them. And we say useful. We might not have all the ideas, but it's now waiting. We on small team the profile. And I'm glad we give you the privilege for share this. We'll make this place better for we all. We get everything for our enjoy. So if we make this, we actually purposefully create Sierra Leone by design. I think say the next leader where they come, it will get the trust of we all, it will get the cooperation, distribute resources, let all man. The money small we'll get. But the more all the first about resources.
Now the resources, I know.
Resources.
That's all this is down to.
So let we
the moment you shape the resources, if it's fed it on.
It don't.
When you shape them, you have put your fly, you go for you go ban far and business.
So I mean on that note, I'm really happy, and I believe say Joleka we don't inculcate this idea say it has to be by election. Nobody need to use the barrel again. If I get problem at the council on here, which I want to tell them the scruma, they tell them. So I think say it's good that way they the way they go. And I think say I salute Sierra Leone and congratulations. I wish everybody well as we go vote next week.
Wish everybody well as we go vote next week. This country now we own, we go work tomorrow morning. And one of the points we emphasize, again we keep emphasizing, for the vast majority of Sierra Leoneans, we don't get direct economic interest in the results of these elections. Nothing changed for us. Of 3.1 million people registered for the elections, the one that we get direct political affiliations, where then they benefit directly from the result of an elections, then go reach 100,000. They're not going to reach 100,000. So for the vast majority, the 3 million, the day after the election, now we think we earn and bring come to the table. Now we take go back at the end of the day. So please, let's not make politics divide us. Let's work together and make sure we are able to make this country a country we're proud of. Andrew, and I look forward to you joining us. Stay with us, don't go away. We have much more for you before the round of the show. But thank you, Andrew. Thank you for joining us on the show.
God bless you, my brother.
Thank you.
Follow the action. The AfriCell live score service bringing you all the latest sports update, goal replay and sports news of the Champions League, Premier League, Italian League, Spanish League, German League and French League matches to your fingertips. To receive match updates, sport news or goal replay about your team, match or league, just dial *707#. For more info, call 111.
AfriCell. Now we network.
Welcome back. I promised you during the last show that we were going to bring you another segment of we detensionizing the election, if English language can allow me. You know, how do we take this tension out of the election? We identified a couple of things where they cause the tension. One part of the things them, we say, now politician them way, even though now democratic means and kind of power, people vote them into power. Other people been dead where they vote them people and they out for let them vote them in. They're prepared for take power, but they're not prepared for lose power. And they're in a small number, but they're vocal. And a population of we register for this election of 3.1 million, the one them way directly they benefit from politics. We know them in most vocal, not past 100,000. But the 3 million is almost dragged along by this 100,000, less than 100,000 people. And so we said, the things where politicians care for do now for make sure say when they prepare for take power, they also for prepare for lose power. The same way we then win democratically, the citizens of the country get right for able for say, you them don't do sa, you them don't do ma. When politicians are able to do that, then it cause problem. And so politicians prepare say, the way I take power by the box, now so I go get for lost power by the box, and I prepare that one day I'll get for go, number one. What it do, create a life for yourself outside politics. Last week we spoke to Dr. Alpha Wuri, when an SLPP politician will be Minister of Education for 10 years. 2007 elections. SLPP was voted out of power. He shared with me his story how he able to manage in transition into a life outside politics. He's a happy man. I promise you, say today we will bring you another politician from an APC point of view. We serve as Minister of Mines, Minister of Finance, etc., and lost power, being a life outside politics, and he able to manage these things so that politics for Anobi mean life and death. Stay tuned. Honorable Hassan Beshekano, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You were born in Jotown.
Yes.
That is Koya Rural District. Yes. That's where you were born. What about your schooling in Sierra Leone? What schooling did you do here in Sierra Leone?
I did up to high school. Up to
what school was that?
Secondary school.
What school?
Independent school.
Independent, government independent. Then you went to the US. How long were you in the US for?
Initially I was there for 5 years.
Initially for 5 years?
Yes, and I came back.
Yeah.
And later on I was there for another 5 years.
Another 5 years. So it's about 10 years. Then, but when you decided to come back finally with a business management degree from Adelphi University in New York, that was 1975.
That was in 1975, yes.
You came back home in 1975. Was there any pressure on you from coming back?
It was a desire.
In 1975?
It was a desire to come and do something for myself.
Was anything pulling you back to say you shouldn't go? Anything pulling you? Hold back in the US? No. You're better off in the US than in Sierra Leone? Was anything?
No, there was no such desire. There was no such pull.
There was no such pull. So you came back, and one of the things you said was that you always wanted to be self-employed.
Right.
Is it genetic? So were your parents self-employed? Why would you?
They were farmers, self-employed.
They were farmers. And so is that where you got the genes to know I don't want to work for people, I would like to be able to work for myself if I have my way?
Probably so.
Probably so. So you came back and you said you wanted to be self-employed. Came back in 1975, and then you started the farm. Yes. At Jotown. Was it owned by
Fellow Farms?
Fellow Farms. I know that's what it was called. Fellow Farms. Now, was the property owned by your parents?
No, I did not interfere with my family property.
Okay.
I bought this from the community.
Okay.
They provided it for me.
Right.
I created employment for them.
Right.
We went on the
and so they worked on the farm.
They worked on the farm.
They worked on the farm, provided employment for them. Fellow Farms. Now, and you said that at the height of the operations of Fellow Farms, you could produce 7 million pineapples.
I had 7 million pineapples planted.
You had 7 million pineapples planted, and that was how many times the population of the country at that point in time. 1975 you set up the farm. 1977 you became a member of parliament.
Right.
1980, just 3 years later, you got your first ministerial appointment.
Right.
From Siaka Stevens.
My debates in parliament were interesting.
Your debates?
I was effective.
You were very effective in parliament.
I think I was. There were people who reported to him. S.I. Kuruma, Kamara Taylor, and Mina.
They seen a sharp boy down there.
So one day he called me. He invited me.
There were no mobile phones at that point in time. How did he call you? Land phone?
He sent a dispatch rider.
He sent dispatch rider.
Yes, and I wanted to talk to me. I was scared.
Anybody would be scared of Shaki.
I was scared. And I went. And he said, "What are you doing now, young man?" I said, "Well, I work for an insurance company and I have a farm." "What do you produce?" And I told him. if I get made a minister, would you accept? I don't know how to answer that, sir. Then I will. Okay, good. Because I remember the month was September, and then in December I had a radio announcement.
So you only had on the radio that you had been appointed Minister of Mines. Siaka Stevens went out, and J.S. Momo came in, and he said J.S. Momo appointed you as Works, Energy,
and a combined ministry.
The combined Ministry of Works, Energy and Power. And you were there, and till 1987, yes. April 1987, you were made Minister of Finance.
Right.
And by then, in between, you had set up an insurance company. Was it allowed for you as a minister to set up an insurance company? I know you already had Magic, but to now set up one by yourself, how were you able to do that?
I indicated a little while ago that the job of a minister, the job of a member of parliament is a temporary job, part-time job. If you're a minister, you are abruptly fired by radio. So if you don't have anything to go back to, you actually perish. So I made sure at all times I have something to go back to.
My guest today is Honorable Hassan Beshe Kanu, who served in the government of Siaka Stevens and Joseph Saidu Momo. You were only Minister of Finance from 1987, April 1987 to November 1989. That was very short. Now, then you became backbencher in Parliament because the system at that point in time allowed you to be a minister. You had to be a member of Parliament before you could be a minister. And so you were in backbencher in the Parliament. You went back as an MP until the NPRC took over in 1992.
Right. Then I was sent to jail. And you were sent to jail.
Is the life of a politician synonymous in Africa, synonymous with jail? Is it something that have to go together? When you talk about politicians, you also talk about jail? Should it be that way?
It shouldn't be so.
It shouldn't be so.
Not really. When the military interferes.
When the military interferes, it's a different
story.
It's a different story altogether. So you were at the Parliament prisons for 1 year, a whole year.
Yeah, for 1 year.
Then 3 years of
on
the house arrest. 6 months of the Beckles Davis Commission of Inquiry.
During that period.
During the period.
During the first 1 year.
During the first 1 year. So you were coming from prison to attend the Beckles Davis Commission of Inquiry.
You are not allowed to go home and look for papers. But I was lucky. I had my papers ready all the time.
You took them with you to prison?
I took them with me to prisons. I handed them over to my lawyer.
I see. What kind of papers are we talking about?
Papers that defended me or protected me in areas that I thought they would investigate.
Now, so you had time to prepare, and you knew investigations were going to come, and you had evidence that would exonerate you for those years.
Before I was removed from office in November, I had sorted papers all out, and I kept them ready. I had the feeling that something was going to come. I had that feeling. So prepare yourself for that day.
You're talking about when you were removed as Finance Minister in 1989?
Yes. I was the Minister of Finance. I photocopied every paper that I thought was important.
Evidence,
and I kept them out of my house.
You kept them out of your house?
Yes. I actually didn't make one copy. I made a couple of copies and secured them in the homes of people I trusted.
Wow. We'll talk about this later. I said we have to do a book, but we'll talk about this later. So, and you said that is what exonerated you from the Commission of Inquiry, Beckles Davis Commission of Inquiry.
In fact, I submitted 82 papers in evidence for the things I said.
Wow.
That's right.
You said Beckles Davis said something.
The conclusion of the report, volume 7 of the Beckles Davis Commission of Inquiry, was that the Honorable Hassan Beshe Kanu has impressed us as a successful businessman. We see nothing wrong with his report, something like that. In those words.
Wow. And in 1996, you were released from house arrest and you took part in elections.
Yeah, I voted.
You voted in the elections 1996. And was it the elections Jan Kaba came in? And it was UNPP and SLPP that went to the runoff. Now, that was proportional representation at that point in time.
Yes.
In Parliament. It was proportional representation. Now, you came out, but the most important point we want to zero in here, when you came back and you finished, you were released from house arrest, you were able to come back to your company, Transworld Insurance.
Yes, I was. Because I prepared myself for it.
You had, and which is the major point you want to make here, you were prepared for this.
That's right.
You were prepared that there was going to be life for you outside politics. So before you went to politics, you had a farm. During politics, you built an insurance company. And you said you knew that after the glamour of life as a member of parliament and as a minister of government, there has to be something you can go back to.
So I can live a happy life.
You could still be happy and live a happy life. Now, how did you cope? This is a question because a lot of members of parliament, some have served 1 term, some have served 2 terms, some have served 3 terms. They are gone. They are not coming back to this parliament, and they are so worried. I don't know whether it's too late already for them. But now, new members of parliament are coming in, and if they don't have the right mindset, they could land into the same trap, like some of your colleagues, like you shared, who were never prepared, did not have a life outside politics. So when politics moved away from them, they were finished. So how did you cope? What did you do? If we just bring it out in your own words.
I had to create an objective. What do I really want? Do I want to continue to be a minister? Do I want to continue to go into my private life? I wanted to be my own man, self-made person. So I created the circumstances that made me happy. I created my objective, my purpose. I worked out a plan for it, and I worked that plan. And I live that plan up to today.
You knew where you want to go to after politics. You came up with a plan, and you worked the plan up till now.
Up till now, that's what I'm working.
You also said you always knew that the offices you occupied was temporary, and that politics is a part-time job.
Absolutely.
Not every one of your colleagues thinks like that.
Absolutely. Well, that is a mistake our younger brothers make. They think it's a permanent job. The glamour lasts for a while.
The glamour lasts for a while, but the glamour gets into the head.
Into the head. And when you allow that to happen, you're in trouble. It will pass. Being an MP, the job of an MP, as I said earlier on, is temporary. It's a part-time job. You are free to do your work elsewhere and return to that elsewhere when it becomes necessary.
I like that. You have to create something, have something elsewhere, and then you can go back to that elsewhere. If you just
come and jump into politics, you create problems for yourself. Some of us think we are smart. So like, I am guilty of that. I've always thought I'm a clever fellow. You see? So I could answer I could go through anything. I always thought so. Even in school and this and that, I always thought I was smart. So even when I came back recently, I went to the university and did an Master of Philosophy degree.
You did? You read a Master of Philosophy degree?
Yeah, I'm from Fobe College.
Fobe College?
Yeah.
At what age?
At 4 years ago.
4 years ago? 70 years ago?
70 years, yes.
Master in Philosophy? For what?
Politics. In political science.
In political science?
Yes.
70 years of age?
I wanted to do my PhD, but my elder brother told me, you ruin yourself.
Some are 38 years and they've already given up on themselves. And 70 years you're reading, you went to read?
I did my philosophy, my MPhil.
Wow.
From College. I started my PhD, but my older brother told me, you're wasting your time. You will die soon.
So they encourage you to stop the PhD.
It discouraged me.
What a man. Now, so again, I threw this question to you. I'll throw it again for the cameras. Anybody who served under the government of Shaki, served under the government of Joseph Saidu Momo, whenever you hear their names, the first thing that comes into the minds of those of us who were around at that point in time was na dem pole country, na dem make utan awutan. So does that cloud hang? Do you feel that cloud hangs over you?
You have to accept it. You are dealing with a nation, with people most of whom do not understand. They will tell you, now you make me picking the land book. Now you make us sleep angry. You can say all sorts of things. But then what excuse do you have? You represented them. They have nowhere to go but to complain. You feed them today, you send them to hospital today, you pay school fees for the children today. Tomorrow they'll come back and say, you're not doing nothing for me. But you have to accept that and live that life.
And you see, that's the fate of a politician. You're either accused of corruption by outsiders, or by your family accusing from within that, or your constituents accusing you. You not even do nothing for you.
Including your family.
Including your family.
Oh yes.
You don't do nothing for you.
The problem is when you achieve. Our general setup, we are poor people in this country. When you achieve, you have a beautiful car, a beautiful house, say don't thief.
Not if you don't thief. Yeah. Anybody where they go get fine was not thief.
Especially if you're a politician.
If you're a politician, especially.
They cannot do anything else but be a thief. That's how they accept you. You have to exonerate yourself by doing the right things. Even when, I tell people, I refer people sometimes to the Justice Beckwith Davis Commission of Inquiry, how they exonerated me. In fact, incidentally, I was one of, if not one, the only senior minister who went through without being guilty of anything. I was exonerated. If I tell people that I can even say proudly that I was the only one whose property was not confiscated.
You were the only one whose property, amongst the ones whose property was not confiscated?
Senior ministers.
Senior ministers?
Yes.
Wow.
Because remember I said a little while ago, I was prepared.
Wow.
I was prepared for it.
We should hear a bit more of this story. Now, and so, another point was, you still live in the same house that you lived in over 30 years ago. You built that house over 30 years ago.
Yes.
How many houses do you have?
Yeah, I should tell you, so my children can follow me.
I'll take back that question. But the thing is, you're still living in the same house that I knew you over 33 years ago. In the east end of Freetown.
Yes. Reason being,
when all government ministers were actually moving to the west.
Well, the excitement, I don't have the thrill of living out there in the west. My constituency is in the east. My people are in the east. I was born in the east. So, if I have to deal with my people, talk to them, play with them, love them, and share what I have with them, I have to live close by to them and identify with them. I have always identified with poverty. So, I'm proud to be there, and I don't think that I have plans to transfer elsewhere.
You don't have plans to live there. It's a wonderful opportunity we have today to be talking to you, how you were able to make the transitions, went through difficulties. Well, because you had a life outside politics, you could several years down the line be sitting down comfortably, quietly, still running your company, and at a ripe old age, and feel fulfilled. I want you to actually just look into this camera there and really talk to younger ones coming up who are aspiring members of parliament, cabinet position, political appointments of whatever sort. What lesson has life taught you in this process that they need to know?
they must appreciate that the job of a minister or the job of a member of parliament is a temporary job. The MP goes in for 5 years, if he's lucky. The second time again, another 5 years, if he's lucky. And the third time, if he's lucky still. So it's temporary for that period. That type of minister is worse. You can be a minister for 1 month, even one day they throw you out.
Wow.
Abruptly.
It's even worse for a minister.
It's even worse for a minister. They can throw you out abruptly. Sometimes for doing nothing. If the president who gave you a job feels offended at home, he has a problem with his family at home, he comes with that anger. He can throw you out because they say you hold office at his pleasure. If he said, please, you are going to go away. I'm exaggerating that. But that is a way of explaining it, demonstrating it. The pleasure of the president is the whole office at the pleasure of the president. He doesn't want to see you. You have nowhere to complain. And if you don't have a place to go to, you can starve. So I want to tell them to prepare themselves for self-employment. Prepare yourself before you go. You can go to your village, build a farm, plant yams, cocoa, cassava, do that kind of thing continuously. That watermelons, they grow. It's an effort, but if you really want to survive, these are the things you do. You see? And then you'll be able to maintain your family, yourself. When another opportunity comes by you, you can deal with it. But if you just let it go, depend upon that job. I never depended upon a ministerial job. If I did not have a place to return to, I might have run myself into trouble.
Honorable Hassan Beshe Kanu,
yes.
Koya Wowa District. Thank you very much for coming to Live by Design.
Thank you for allowing me to
talking to us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's na Hassan Beshe Kanu in story we share. And for every politician, including the one that will not be MPs, where they don't vote out of power, go for comeback, and every other Sierra Leonean we don't lost power as a result of the changes we don't take place and we go take place inside these elections. Maybe this is an example for all of us for land. And I just want to close with this one video clip that we played the last time. I want to play them again for all of us. We go get for take political power in this country. There's a big lesson from Ekwilan here, not just from Alpha Wuri, not just from Hassan Beshe Kanu, but also a story about a former undersecretary in the United States.
This is my favorite story of all. Remember who you are. There was an Undersecretary of Defense who was giving a speech at a large conference of like 1,000 people. And he was recently retired. So he was the former undersecretary, one of the former undersecretaries of defense. And he was standing on the stage giving his speech, his prepared remarks, and while he was talking, he was taking a sip out of a cup of coffee he had in this styrofoam cup. And he sort of looks down and smiles and interrupts his prepared remarks. And he says, last year I was the secretary, as the undersecretary, and I spoke at this exact same event in this exact same venue last year. Except last year, while I was still undersecretary, they flew me here business class. They had a car waiting for me to take me from the airport to the hotel. Someone had already checked me in and escorted me up to my room. The next morning I came downstairs, there was someone waiting for me in the lobby, and they took me to this same venue. They took me in the back entrance, they took me into the green room, and they handed me a cup of coffee in a beautiful ceramic cup. He says, I'm no longer the undersecretary. I flew here coach. I took a taxi from the hotel to the airport. I checked myself in. This morning I took another taxi to the same venue. I walked on the front door. I found my way to the backstage. And when I asked somebody, do you have any coffee? He pointed to the coffee machine in the corner. And I poured myself a cup of coffee into this here styrofoam cup. He says the lesson is, the ceramic cup was never meant for me. It was meant for the position I hold. I deserve a styrofoam cup. We all deserve styrofoam cups. As you become more successful, as you do well in life, you will be afforded many advantages. People will call you sir and ma'am, they'll carry your luggage, they'll hold doors open for you, they will bring you a cup of tea without you even asking for it. But it's not meant for you. It's meant for the position you hold. And when you move on, they will give all those things to the person who replaces you. Never, ever forget that you only ever deserved a styrofoam cup. Go forth and do well. Thank you very, very much.
Poignant story for you and for everybody. And it's not just even politician, but anybody will go hold an office for make you know say there are a lot of benefits where they come with the office, and when you left them benefits then they not for begin things say like for go now you aid and things say now you them in they get the benefit. Now the position where you been old and they get the benefit. When you know they then go take the same benefit pass them on to other people there. And we only deserve a styrofoam cup. Well, we've talked a lot today. And you may agree with some of the things that I say, you may disagree with some of the things that I say, but this is what makes this a democracy. But let's just all we act together. We want to be able to challenge every Sierra Leonean. Let's go and go vote in the runoff election peacefully. Let's come back now. Not allow anybody for incite you into any violent actions. We've already said, if a politician they tell you for go fet, then picking them us or then picking out of the country. Whoever they are, they're not like you. And so, just keep an eye on it. Second point, of the 3.1 million people who vote, the one that will go benefit directly as a result of that in a power and this politics, then small. They not even reach 50,000. So we get over 3 million people where you work the next day. Now you market blind, you pepper blind, you carpenter work, you fitter work, and whatever job we've been done they do before the elections, now in they put something at the table, not to the job where they go get for give through politics. So keep landing at your aid. So do not allow make anybody confuse you. Let's go vote for these elections and peacefully come back now with us, wait for the results, and not react any violently. We get the courts of law, we get ways them where we address if anything they with anyone we disagree with. On behalf of we sponsors AfriCell, a call to business group, Ministry of Youth Affairs and the National Youth Commission, and the AYV Empire, Media Empire, we now for sake of all of them people here, so Life by Design, the happy for design, not just your life, but this time happy for design your country. Please have a wonderful and peaceful elections for every one of us at Sierra Leone. God bless you.